December 1941. German leader, chancellor, and dictator Adolf Hitler declared war on the United States. Hitler's longtime goal had been to make his National Socialist Party, also known as the Nazi Party, quote, uncompromisingly the one and only power in Germany. As of July 1933, he declared his Nazi Party the only legal party in Germany. Hitler possessed a sort of deceptive charisma. Despite his oppression of Jews and other unclean races and his aggressive attack on peace in our nations, still people of Germany shouted, Heil Hitler, with common goals of expanding their territory and eliminating communism in Russia. Hitler signed treaties with two other powerful nations.
The Axis powers consisted of Germany, Japan, and Italy. Germany and Japan signed a treaty in 1936 stating they would not attack each other. 1 year later, Italy joined them. In 1940, all three countries signed a treaty saying they would assist each other in the event that a war was declared. Hitler was Germany's leader, Mussolini was Italy's leader, and Hirohito was Japan's leader.
Sunday, December 7th, 1941, Oahu, Hawaii. 7:02. A new radar system in Hawaii detects 50 or more planes and contacts the Radio Informational Center. 7:20. The center dismisses it as a flight of U.S. bombers, tells them not to worry. The Japanese are 70 miles away. 7:40. The first wave of Japanese planes takes off from their carriers. 9 minutes later, the Japanese receive the command, attack. 7:55. A commander looks out his window and sees a plane drop something, a bomb. He orders an uncoded message to all ships and bases. Air raid on Pearl Harbor. This is not a drill. Most of the U.S. planes are destroyed. 8:54. The second wave of Japanese planes come facing anti-aircraft fire. 10 o'clock. The Japanese rendezvous at the carriers, triumphant and wanting a third strike. The superiors decline. The attack is over. 10:30. The death toll reaches around 2,400. December 8th, 1941. The House votes 388 to 1 in favor of war with Japan. The Senate's vote is unanimous.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking towards the maintenance of peace in the Pacific.
Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons have commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. And while this stated that it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiations, it contained no threat or hint of war or armed attack.
It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening time, the Japanese government was deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to the American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu.
Yesterday, the Japanese government also launched an attack against Malaya. Last night, the Japanese forces attacked Hong Kong. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Guam. Last night, Japanese forces attacked the Philippine Islands. Last night, the Japanese attacked Wake Island. And this morning, the Japanese attacked Midway Island.
With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
The Battle of Stalingrad took place between August 23, 1942 and February 2, 1943, an entire 5 months, 1 week, and 3 days. The battle took place in Stalingrad, Russia. It is considered to be among the most bloodiest battles in the history of warfare. It was also considered the most strategically decisive battle in the whole war, tipping the power into the Allies' hands. During the battle, Germany was led by General Friedrich Paulus with the help of General Hermann Hoth, and the Soviet Union was led by General Andrei Yeryomenko. The Soviet Union had a decisive victory over Germany, where they completely destroyed the German Sixth Army, to the point where it never fully recovered. The casualties of this battle was huge. An estimated total of 1.7 to 2 million died during the battle.
Concentration camps are a very important aspect of World War II. They were used to hold and dispose of people Germany saw unfit, mainly those of a Jewish background. There were 6 different types of concentration camps. Hostage camps were used to hold prisoners and sometimes kill as reprisal. Labor camps were where inmates had to do hard physical labor under inhumane conditions. Prisoner of war camps were used to hold prisoners of war and later sent to labor camps. Camps for the rehabilitation and re-education of Poles or Polish people was used to re-educate Polish people according to Nazi values. Transit and collection camps were where inmates were collected and routed to main camps. And lastly, extermination camps were where prisoners were sent to die.
The prisoners in these camps, the majority were Jewish, were treated extremely poorly. Many died through deliberate maltreatment, disease, starvation, overwork, and executed if they were seen unfit. Many died from dehydration and hypothermia when being transported by rail freight cars. A very popular and wide-known camp was Auschwitz. Around 11 million people died inside these camps, and there was an estimated 15,000 camps established throughout the entire war.
The invasion of Iwo Jima took place on February 19th with the goal to capture the whole island to provide a staging area for the attacks on the Japanese main islands. This invasion was a lot of close combat where the Japanese built defense underground with tunnels and caves. Japan suffered around 22,000 casualties, while the U.S. only suffered around 7,000, resulting in the U.S. Armed Forces capturing the island of Iwo Jima from the Japanese Empire on March 26, 1945.
Operation Overlord was designed and planned in secrecy. The goal was to confuse Germany and land our troops in a less fortified area. This was Normandy. 5 beaches were designated to be landed on. Their code names were Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. During the landing, more than 6,000 ships, 5,000 fighter pilots, 13,000 vehicles, and over 100,000 men were to be used on D-Day. On June 5, 1944, the day D-Day was supposed to take place, was actually delayed due to the weather. The following day, June 6, 1944, D-Day started. Even though there were mass casualties on Juno and Omaha Beach, the whole operation was considered a huge success. By June 11th, all of the beachheads were secure. During the entire invasion of Normandy, over 425,000 Allied and German troops were killed. An estimated number of around 209,000 of those killed were Allied troops. Another estimate of around 200,000 killed were German. It should also be noted that the Allies actually captured another 200,000 German prisoners.
The decision behind the dropping of the first atomic bombs came from President Truman, who wanted Japan's ultimate surrender to end the war. When we were ignored, the bombs were sent out. The Manhattan Project brought atom bombs into war. The first atomic bomb, Little Boy, was dropped in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. The second bomb, dropped 3 days later on Nagasaki, was called Fat Man. The second bomb was more destructive but caused more damage to a smaller area compared to the first, where the casualty count is double of the second. The casualty count will never be known, but the estimated count was approximately 80,000 at Hiroshima and 35,000 at Nagasaki. The blast itself was not the only factor. The radiation from each bomb caused even more destruction after the initial bombing, and many more lives were lost.